Hello guys, this is Ezekiel Ndastego, and on today's YouTube video channel, we'll be doing some web development.
Okay, so guys, like I promised you that I'll bring you a new video on web development that uses a tool instead of hard coding your website. So if you are a new web developer out there using HTML, CSS, and JavaScript to build your apps, and you're still finding it difficult to make responsive sites, then I got a solution for you. We have a tool, a very nice tool, Bootstrap Studio, that allows you to design your website by simply dragging and dropping your component. You simply drag the footer, drop it, drag the header, drop it, and then you customize it to fit exactly what you want. So if you think you're struggling out there building responsive sites, then stay tuned as I take you through the process of installing Bootstrap Studio and designing your components. Okay, so guys, like we said, I told you we'll be using Bootstrap Studio. So what is Bootstrap Studio? Bootstrap Studio is a desktop app that employs Bootstrap framework. It's basically a version of Bootstrap, but now in a desktop app. So how good is Bootstrap Studio? Bootstrap Studio allows you to design your websites that are responsive in mobile fonts, large screens, medium-sized screens, any type of the screen. So it basically works in the sense that it allows you to design your websites using a drag and drop feature. For example, if you want to add a navbar, you simply go to the components panel and then select the navbar, drag it and drop it to the exact position where you want it to be. So it basically helps in that you don't have to worry about the HTML syntax, CSS syntax, and JavaScript codes that will make your site responsive. So that's why for a beginner who is starting his journey in web development, you should consider using Bootstrap Studio if you are still finding hard times to make responsive sites. Again, with Bootstrap Studio, there's nothing more that you need to import because all the links come installed. And each time you drag and drop a component, let's say you have dragged a footer component, it automatically adds the codes, the CSS, the HTML, and the Bootstrap classes to the design, such that at the end of your design, you will simply export your design into a folder in your machine, and then you can simply run it from your VS Code app to render the code into a browser so that you can see how exactly it actually appears, assuming that you had done it on a VS Code without having to use the Bootstrap Studio. But I prefer Bootstrap Studio because it makes your work easy. Like a site that you could have coded for like an hour, you can simply spend 15 minutes doing that 1 hour work. Why? Because you simply drag and drop the components, and all the codes, CSS, JavaScript, and the Bootstrap classes are automatically added as you design your app. But again, there's an option for customizing your design. For example, you can also add the identifier, like the ID classes, to your components, and then you do the other stylings that don't come with the Bootstrap classes. For example, if you want to change the color, you see Bootstrap comes with some default colors like the primary, secondary, dark, white, and danger, warning, success, and secondary. Assuming that you wanted to use a color that is out of the Bootstrap classes, you can simply add your ID to the class and then style it in the CSS. So without wasting time, let's do a design here so that you can see practically what I mean by saying that Bootstrap Studio actually isn't your work as a developer who's starting to build websites using HTML, CSS, and JavaScript and Bootstrap Studio, Bootstrap framework. Nice one. So when you launch your Bootstrap Studio, it basically you'll have a window like this. This is the first window that will greet you when you launch the Bootstrap Studio. So because we are here for the first time, assuming that you've never done any design in your Bootstrap Studio, this is the first screen that you'll be having. So what we do, you'll click on a new design. Now on the new design page, you'll be greeted with this such a good looking window that contains the templates that are existing. So you can either choose from the existing templates, or you can decide to choose the blank. So it means if you choose the blank, you will be designing everything from scratch. That is it. And again, if you check here, we have the version of the Bootstrap that you can use. You can choose 4.6, you can choose 3.4, you can choose 5.2, whatever, but in this scenario I want us to use Bootstrap 5.2. After which, then you now have to give your design a name. Let's assume that we want to name our design, let's say, admin dashboard. So you just come and type here admin dashboard. Then come look for the templates pane. Check if you have any template that looks like admin dashboard. And amazingly, we have one here, SP admin. So I'm going to use this template because I don't want to waste time building up the components from scratch. So let's use the SP admin template. Click on it. If you click on it, you will see this marker icon on the top left corner. Then click on create. Give it time to load. You must be on the internet because it's actually importing some links from the net. So this is what we have. As you can see, this is the design that we already have. So in this tutorial, I will simply customize what we have here to fit our needs. So before that, you can see here we have different devices of different screens. If you click on this, looks like a mobile phone, a tablet, let me say an iPad, then a laptop, a desktop, and finally larger screens. So you get to design and see in real time how your app will render on different screen devices and sizes. So that is it. So as you can see, Bootstrap Studio does a lot of work for you. So it gives you the ability to customize your design. For example, in this case, we are using a template. Now, assuming that my company is Osego.inc, you can see in the left pane here, we have the components. If you want to use, for example, a navbar component, just click on the search component and type navbar. It will give you navbar. Then you simply drag and drop it where you want it. But in this case, we won't drag and drop because we are using an existing template, And then down here, we will see our DOM. How the elements are structured in this design. For example, you can see we have HTML. Inside the HTML, you have the body. Inside the body, we have the divs, the navbar. Inside the navbar, we have the navbar brand and the horizontal divider. So basically, it simply used the normal HTML markup that you already know. So already having a good understanding of HTML makes it easy for you to come up with a design even from scratch. From a blank card, you can still do your designs. So if you want to edit an existing template, for example, let's say I wanted to edit the brand name here. So just click on the component. You can either click from the component from the design itself or from the overview pane here. And then I want to change the name of the brand. Click on the pen icon and then change it. Let's say my company is Osego.inc. That is it. Just press enter and it's done. I've already saved that. So we have the profile here, dashboard, we have table, login, register. So if you check again on the right pane, we have a tab here known as design. The design here contains the pages of your website. Our website will be having like 4 pages: the about page, the contact us page, we can have services page, we can have terms and conditions page. So if you're building a site that will have more pages, then you will find your pages here. Click on this drop down and it will give you all the pages that we have. So to view and edit each individual page, double click on the page name, then let it load. After it loads, just come to the components, click, you can edit. For example, employee info, I can say instead of the employee info, students info. Sorry, there's a typo here. Students info. Press and it's done. Let's say we have a team, just click on the component, click the pen icon. Let's say we are building a dashboard for computer technology students. computer technology. Okay, nice one. Press enter, and that's it. So basically, editing the components is easy. Simply click on the component that has the item that you want to edit. Click on it, click on the pen icon, it will do so. So pages are on the right pane. Profile page is there. You can change the picture, though I'll not show you how to change the picture. That's for another day. Then you can customize anything that you want. Let's say instead of this one, you can have something like my profile. Press enter and it's done. Login. You see, you have all the components for the login page. For the dashboard, you can choose to have like the login using email address and password, or you can use the OAuth functionalities that employees login with Google or login with Facebook. Assuming that for your website you don't need that OAuth, simply click on this one and then click delete. Click on Facebook, click delete, and that's how you add and remove components from your Bootstrap Studio design. Again, let's click on a component and let me show you something. Let me drag this design down. You check up here, you can see you can actually change the designs of your components. You can change the width, the height, the margin, font size, fonts, family, style, alignment. You can change the background. Coming down here, you can position it using the different styles there. Take shadow, transform it. So basically this pen also contains some CSS properties that you can play with around and see how they actually change your design. That is it. Again, if you leave alone this right panel, down here we have, drag it up, we have the HTML code for this component, this page. Again, we have the CSS, the styles. You can see the styles are on this pane. So basically you can just come here, change whatever you want to change. If you want to add the class that ain't existing in Bootstrap, you simply click on the component. Let's say this is the component that I want to change. Click in the attributes here, then class name. You can see you have the key value. You can input it in the key or the value here. So try and play with that. You see how you can add your own custom classes or identifiers like IDs used to add custom styles to your page. So you have HTML code here and your CSS code here. But again, for the CSS code, you can always use the right panel, which panel that has all the GUI for playing around with the CSS styles. Nice one. Again, we have the animation tab here. If I click on this login button, then I click on animations here, then I want to add some animations to my button. Let me say I want to add animation of okay, let me first click on the animation. Let me say I need some animation on scroll. Which type of animation do I need? Let's say I need it to slide up, yeah, something of that kind. Then you can try, let's play. You see the animation, how it works. Let's try another one. On hover, what do you want the button to do on hover? Let's say rubber band. Let's try and hover. Okay, then play. You see what happens? So basically Bootstrap Studio gives you also the options to add animations to your components. So basically what Bootstrap Studio does, it allows you, isn't your work, makes your work easy. It reduces your workload by, let me say, 50% or 70%, because you simply drag and drop the components into your website, into your pen here, and it scaffolds all the codes, the HTML styles, the CSS styles, and the Bootstrap link that will be needed for your website. So basically that's how the brief overview of Bootstrap Studio. So with Bootstrap Studio, you really don't have to learn about JavaScript, DOM manipulation. Maybe that is for another day. Maybe if you want to have like a dynamic web app, basically Bootstrap is for making your sites responsive so that it can render well on small devices such as mobile phones, on laptops, on larger screens, and basically any screen size. As you can see, you can also add animations. So that's it. So let's do a recap of what we've done. Basically on the left pane, we have the components here. Come here, type the component that you want. So let's say we want a footer component. You come type footer, click on it, you'll drag and drop. But in this case, we ain't dragging and dropping because we were using an existing template. So we just had to customize the text and the colors, but not add new components. So that's it. Again, on the left pane, we have the overview that gives you like the structure of how all the components and elements are laid in your design. It basically copies what the HTML structure has. On the right pane, we have the pages section that shows us all the pages that your design has. We have index page, that is that. We have the login page, it renders. We have the profile page, register, and so on and so on. So you can add as many pages as you want in your design. Nice one. And then we have this tab here, appearance, options, and animations. We've talked about animations. It basically allows you to add animations to your components. Options here just allows you to play around with other options like the styles. It's like a GUI way of styling your components. Then appearance basically is with colors, background properties, and other things in CSS. Basically, appearance and options are for the CSS styling using GUI. So guys, that's it. This wasn't meant to be a complete tutorial on Bootstrap Studio, but I just wanted to let you know about the Bootstrap Studio app as a tool that will allow you to make your website very, very fast. That is, if you are a HTML, CSS, and JavaScript developer. It's also good for building multiple page websites using the technologies that I've mentioned, that is the HTML, CSS, and JS. So you've done all your design, and now it's time for you to export your design to VS Code. Let's say you want to render what you've designed to a browser. So what do we do? Assuming this is what we have here that I want to use as my pages, you'll come to the menu bar, then click on export. After clicking on export, don't alter anything. All this other stuff here, leave alone. Just come here, export settings, then click browse. This will lead you to choose the destination where you want your project to be saved. So I'm sorry you can't see my file explorer because I didn't add it to my broadcast app. So I'll do that then. Basically, you just choose your location. I know that you can do. So I'll choose my desktop. No, I'll choose my local disk G, and then create a new folder and call it admin dashboard. That is done. Then select the folder. That is it. After doing that, ensure that you remember the location where you've stored your design. Click on save. Not save, but you click on export because you want to export it so that you can view it. You can see down here it's writing exporting design. So your design was exported. Click to open the target folder. So that is it. It means that our design is now exported and it's ready for us to open it in Visual Studio Code and render it to any web browser. So I'll close this and switch back to Visual Studio so that I can show you how it actually looks and how to render it on your on your so-called browser, so that you can see how exactly it will appear. So let's switch back to our Visual Studio so that I can show you. We'll open the folder and then we'll see how the code has been generated actually. So let me switch back to Visual Studio so that we can see what happens. Nice one. So we are in our Visual Studio Code. So if I'm in our Visual Studio Code, this is my blank Visual Studio. It means there's no open projects. So click on open folder, then navigate to the location where you saved your design. Mine I stored on local disk G in a folder called admin dashboard. So I'll click on the admin dashboard and then click select folder. Nice one. You can see it's opening my folder. Wow. You can see on my Explorer and the Visual Studio Code. I have the assets. Assets will contain all your CSS styles, custom fonts if you added any, your images, JS, and all the Bootstrap components there. And then just down there we have the pages. You can see my index page. My index page, look at my header section. I have the font awesome icons install Bootstrap installed. You can see what it does, and then just see my components, my elements. They have Bootstrap classes, so you can see it tells you all the work of typing all these classes manually. You simply drag and drop and it automatically scaffolds all the code and the classes that you need. My login is there with all the codes, register page is there, everything, table is there. So I want us to actually see how this will appear in our browser. So for those who use Visual Studio, there's an extension called Live Server. Live Server will simply allow us to serve our static pages locally to our browser. So I have it installed, but if you don't have it installed, you can simply click on instructions here and search Live Server. I can't search it because I'm not connected, I'm sorry, but you can do that. Just click on that, click Live Server, click install. Because I have it installed, it's down on the bottom right. You see here, go live. I'll click on that, go live. Then it should open it in my Brave browser. Actually, I use Brave browser. So let me show you how it looks in the Brave browser, so that you can see how good how good Bootstrap Studio saves you work. Just a minute, I'm showing you the Brave browser. Brave browser, nice one. So I'll simply show you the Brave browser so you can see how actually it happens. So let's see our Brave browser. Oh, nice one. Let's see. Nice. You can see it's serving my site from port 5500 index.html. All the customization that we made, like Osego Inc., this is the customization that I made. You can see it's here. And then you see our dashboard is responsive. Profile, it loads the profile. You can see table, it will load the table, the login. You can see we have a login, and remember we had added some animation, the hover animation. Look, if I hover, we have it there. Hover, have it there. Look at that, how nice that is. You don't have to code anything, just click using the GUI and it adds all the properties that you want. I'm so happy for this. So let's check another one, the register section. We have it there, register with Google, register with Facebook. So guys, that's it for Bootstrap Studio. Now the next question that I know you will be asking me, okay, how do I get Bootstrap Studio? Go to Bootstrap Studio. Just launch your browser, go to Google, then search for download Bootstrap Studio. You will find the first link for Bootstrap Studio, click on it. And then if you want to know how to activate it for free, drop me a comment. I'll show you how to activate Bootstrap Studio for free so that you can get the pro version for your use. Actually, it's a paid app or program, let me say, but there's a way in which you can get a free version of Bootstrap Studio. So if you think Bootstrap Studio is good for you and it will make your work easier as a developer, drop a comment so that I can actually show you how to get a pro version of Visual Studio without even paying a single coin. So that's it for the video. Bye. So guys, that's basically the end of the video that I had for you. And as I said, if you want to install Bootstrap Studio and have a pro version without having to pay for even a single coin, then drop a comment down there and I'll show you exactly how to do that.
Thank you for staying tuned this far. Let's meet next time. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the like button.
Until then,